This is a 2024 Aucta Magnolia. As a 2024, it originally was a Terra, but then InTech changed the name, so now this is the Aucta line, and this is the Magnolia. So we'll go inside. The InTech products are all aluminum construction. This is built on a welded aluminum cage, so it's very, very stable, not like a lot of the RVs that are made with the wood frame construction. These InTech lines are really known for the panoramic windows out front. Gives you this really big view. The reason we're selling this, we really love the InTech build. We started with InTech Soul Horizon. We moved up to this Magnolia primarily due to some family needs. And now through the window there you see a Willow, which is a bit bigger. And again, the only reason we're selling this is because of family needs having to do with the split bath versus the wet bath. This dinette will easily seat 4 or 5 people. The table is removable, and also you can put a shorter pylon down here, put this down and make it into a bed with a cushion that's currently on the bed in the back. We have a single family member who's pretty small, and we're actually able to just take these pillows away, and it's plenty wide for him to sleep there. All of the cabinets in the InTech are built with these hinges, and it is a controlled release, so they won't slam down. Soft close, they call that, and those will go down slowly. Okay. With the exception of one window in the back, all of them have these pull-down shades, including for privacy at night. In the front, this will pull down. This cabinet, this is actually your electric panel. Interestingly, InTech did not do that same hinge. They did no hinge on this. You had to hold it up. I added that little hydraulic thing there. And then this is your electrical panel. Kitchen, refrigerator, and lots of storage. Both of these pull out. Coming into the kitchen, you have a gas range or stovetop that's run by propane. You also have a microwave and convection oven. And then this is the sink, and it comes with this cover which extends your countertop, which is pretty nice sometimes. Storage underneath. Lots of storage under there. I did add this little foam. It's actually a noodle from a pool because we had a set of drawers in here that I was concerned about hitting this and messing that up while you're driving down the road, so I put that on to protect it, so I just left it. Cabinets up top, same soft close. We did add this paper towel holder, and so we're leaving that. It's really nice. It's on a, I don't know what you call it, but one of the first things we discovered in our Soul, the first time we drove, was we forgot to tie down the paper towels, and we had paper towels all over the place. So this is really nice because that won't move, so we don't really have to tie that down. There's also a light in the kitchen. Okay. One drawer in the kitchen here. And we'll go on into the bedroom. This is a full queen bed. This cushion here is what goes on top of the table up front when you make that into a bed. Okay. You have a wardrobe. You can hang clothes there. And then you have underneath, you have a drawer. I've got some TV remotes in there that I'll talk about. And then also another storage underneath there. Underneath the bed on the front here, we put this shoe holder, and I screwed that in, so I'm leaving it. I don't want to leave holes. And one thing I might comment on, kind of forget about this every once in a while. Sitting right there is a little rubber knob, and InTech was really good about protecting everything, so that if it wasn't hitting the mattress, that would hit there. And so these little things are kind of all over the place, and they're hardly noticeable. Okay. In the bedroom, we've got 3 of these cabinets over the top, and then this over here. These lights, I turned on the accent lights. They have these blue accent lights. They're also blue here. If you hold that, it'll turn white, and that's a nice reading light. And there's 2 of those, and those are adjustable. And then another cabinet back in the bedroom up here. You see the television here. There's 2 televisions in this unit. One up front that you saw, and this one. This is not the original brand that was in the Magnolia. We replaced this. This is an Insignia. I've got remotes for both of those. And then back here, your air conditioning control, which I can't turn on right now because I'm not plugged in. And then you've also got controls to the MaxxAir fans, which there's one over the bed and there's one over the dinette. And then we have the wet bath. We weren't certain about how we'd feel about a wet bath when we first got it, but we really discovered that we liked it. Combination shower and toilet. Of course, it's got its own fan, and that's just controlled by opening it up and pushing the button. Paper cover that keeps the TP from getting wet when you're using the shower. And then there's a handy organizer here that's mounted in here. So these RVs typically come with a 100 amp hour deep cycle battery. I replace them with a 200 amp hour lithium. We don't have solar on this, but we did want a bigger battery capacity so that if you're driving down the road, you're not concerned about running out of battery, running your refrigerator. And so this is the battery compartment. And so what we have is 2 LI Time 100 amp hour lithium batteries. And then this thing that's mounted there on the side is a connection for this shunt, which is that little unit that sits up there that tells us how much battery we have. So these do the job and really keep, if we drive for 4 or 5 hours, we typically are at about 85 or 88%. So it really does a good job taking care to make sure you don't lose any battery power. I also did put that foil insulation there while I was underneath here, just to give us a little bit of extra insulation. Sometimes we felt a little bit of cool air coming from the modification I did. It's a little bit cumbersome to get to, okay? But it does allow you to see the additional storage underneath here, under the bed. You have this. You have that storage. There's also more storage under there, and that's actually what's going down underneath. This is your fresh water tank supply, and this is the line coming out of the fresh water tank, and those other 3 lines are your drains that go outside. Kind of would be really cumbersome to store anything down there, but you do have this additional storage. You know, obviously something you're not going to be getting into every day if you have to lift up the mattress, but it is available. But then over here is your water pump, okay? And what you have here, The orange down at the bottom, that's the water pump. So that gets turned on if you're not hooked up to city water and you're using your freshwater tank. The pump turns on, it gives you water pressure. I added these 2 tanks. Those are called accumulator tanks. And the reason they were added is because every time that pump kicks on, it rumbles a little bit. The accumulator tanks keep pressure up, so it's not having to come up to pressure all the time. So that was a modification that I did. I'm going to run the awning out a bit. It's a little bit windy, so I'm not going to run it all the way out. But this awning does not require any support. It can go all the way out. It does have a wind sensor, so if it gets too windy, it'll kick the thing back in. There is a sensitivity adjustment on that I've never used, but there's some instructions in the resources available to adjust the sensitivity if it's going in too easily with a little bit of a breeze. And then this is the outdoor kitchen. Large storage in here. You can see large storage all the way back, right? Okay. Outdoor kitchen. This is a propane Suburban griddle. Okay. And then there's room here for a Dometic refrigerator that would run. It's a 12-volt refrigerator. When we had our Horizon, we had both, and we just decided with the larger refrigerator inside, we didn't need this refrigerator, so we use this for other storage, you know, when we're traveling. Uh, 120 outlets out here. If you're plugged into shore power, these are active, or if you ended up putting an inverter inside and to feed the whole system, you'd have 120 there. One more storage here. This is accessible inside underneath the cushions in the dinette. What I have in here right now, this is the cover for the front window, and we're also including that 30 amp plug to get your power into the unit. Behind this cover, you have 2 propane tanks, and they both can be open. This there's an arrow there. The gauge will tell you it's full. This should be full, and that's about a third full. I don't have the valves open right now, but this doesn't determine what you're using. It's just telling you what this is showing. You can have both open and it'll pull from both, or it'll pull from one and then the other. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but those are propane tanks. On the utility side, I do have an extra gate valve on the sewage outlet here. There is a very slow leak on one of the 2 valves in the holding tank. I didn't feel like it was worth taking it in and pulling everything off to replace that valve when I could just put that gate valve on, and so I'm going to leave that gate valve. It makes it really, really easy. With that gate valve, you know when you take this cap off, you're not going to have anything coming out at you. Okay. That's your plug for your 30 amp. Oh, and that's a cable connection if you plug into a cable system to go to the pellet. And then back here, that's just a storage for your sewer hose. And then you have your fill. This is your city water, and then this is your fill for your freshwater tank. And then this is the demand hot water heater. That switch has to be flipped on in order for you to be able to turn on the thermostat inside. And then coming on the back, one thing on the back is you do have a connection, a plate there for a reverse camera. I have used a Halo View 5 and been really happy with it. A 175 pound capacity 2-inch receiver on the back. There's probably a few things that I didn't show that you might have a question about. So feel free to ask questions, ask for other photos. I can only do one video to be posted on rvtrader.com, but I'm happy to take other photos of things that you might want to see. Just let me know. Thanks for watching.